Robot and Zombie. The incident of the abnormally serene woods that continually rejected unwanted visitors, including the robot who does what he wants when he wants. It was a sunny spring morning in Ridgeview, Connecticut, a town where the picture-perfect streets were lined with blossoming trees, and the fresh air seemed to be mocking the dark clouds of trouble brought by Robot and Zombie. The 1990s were a simpler time, flannel shirts, grunge music, and local football games. But for Ben Corbin, it was a time of frustration. His life was constantly interrupted by the reckless, disruptive antics of two unwanted guests in the town, a fast-talking, black metal-wearing robot and his slow, brain-munching psychic, Zombie. Robot had been making himself the self-appointed leader of everything, despite no one listening to him. On that particular day, he was lounging in the middle of Ridgeview Park, cradling a can of soda and spouting his usual nonsense. "I do what I want when I want," he declared to no one in particular, causing passing families to give him a wide berth. Zombie, meanwhile, sat quietly next to Robot, attempting once again to gnaw on Robot's head. "Quit it, Z!" Robot snapped, smacking Zombie's hand away before cracking open his drink and taking a swig. Ben Corbin, the teenage brat of Ridgeview, had had enough. "That's it. You guys are leaving. Today," Ben growled, stepping into the park with his usual air of entitlement. His preppy outfit contrasted sharply with Robot's grunge look, and the tension between them had been brewing for weeks. Ben's pristine world was constantly being tarnished by Robot's crude humor and chaotic behavior, not to mention Zombie's disturbing habit of drooling on everything. "Yeah? And what are you going to do about it, kid?" Robot sneered, leaning back smugly. "You can't handle my awesomeness. The townsfolk love me. I'm like a celebrity." "No, everyone hates you," Ben said flatly. "I'm driving you two idiots out to the woods, and you're not coming back." Zombie looked up at the word woods and mumbled, "Woods." But Robot, oblivious as ever, scoffed. "Ha! The woods? What? Are you trying to scare me with squirrels and fresh air? I thrive in danger, kid. I'm basically invincible." Robot puffed out his chest, and then immediately slouched back down when he saw Ben wasn't amused. Within the hour, Ben had dragged Robot and Zombie to his mom's SUV, where the pair sat in the back seat, Zombie staring blankly out the window, while Robot continuously clicked his seatbelt in and out, muttering something about seatbelts being a scam by the government. The drive through town was peaceful, too peaceful for Robot's taste. "This town is suffocating my genius," Robot whined. "Where are the explosions? Where's the mayhem? This place is as dead as Z's brain." "Shut up," Ben muttered, gripping the steering wheel. "You're ruining everything. You guys are like an infection, and I'm the cure." After what felt like hours of Robot's incessant complaining and Zombie's occasional moans, Ben finally pulled up to the edge of Ridgeview Woods, a sprawling, serene forest that looked like something straight out of a nature magazine. Birds chirped cheerfully as the trio stepped out of the SUV, and the gentle breeze carried the scent of pine and freshly bloomed wildflowers. Ben pointed into the woods. "This is where you're staying. No more bothering Ridgeview. You're done." Zombie tilted his head and muttered, "Done," as he wandered off, walking slowly into the tree line. Robot, however, crossed his arms and gave a smirk. "Yeah, sure, whatever. I'll hang out here for like 5 minutes. This whole place screams lame, and I've got better things to do." He picked up a stick and half-heartedly threw it into the woods, narrowly missing a squirrel. With a sigh of relief, Ben got back into his SUV and sped off, leaving Robot and Zombie behind. For a brief moment, it seemed like the peace and quiet of Ridgeview would return. That is, until the next morning. The sun had barely risen when Ben heard the familiar sound of destruction. There, on the perfectly manicured lawn of Ridgeview's town square, were Robot and Zombie, Robot lazily swinging on a lamppost and Zombie gnawing on the fountain. "Are you kidding me?" Ben yelled, storming over to them. "Hey, what's up, kid?" Robot said, completely unbothered. "Your little forest retreat was boring. We came back." Ben rubbed his temples in frustration. You can't just come back. You're ruining everything. Robot hopped down from the lamppost, looking bored. Listen, Ben, I go where I want, when I want. That's why they want to keep me down. They're all jealous of my power. Ben groaned. Okay, new plan. We're going back to the woods, but this time, I'm dropping you even farther away. You won't be able to find your way back. Zombie, still gnawing on the fountain, mumbled, back. Once again, Ben dragged him back to the SUV, and this time drove twice as far into the woods. Deeper and deeper. The trees loomed overhead, the sunlight barely peeking through the thick canopy. He stopped in the middle of nowhere, kicked Robot and Zombie out, and sped away before Robot could complain. The next morning, they were back. This time, they were lounging on the roof of the local bakery, Robot throwing bread rolls at the unsuspecting townspeople below. How is this happening? Ben demanded, staring up at them. You're like a plague. Robot shrugged. It's the springtime, kid, the season of rebirth. You know, new beginnings or whatever. And guess what? We're back. Zombie, still munching on a half-eaten roll, chimed in with a soft back. The cycle continued for days. No matter how far into the woods Ben drove them, no matter how deep into the forest he abandoned them, Robot and Zombie always came back, faster than before and more disruptive than ever. They were like weeds, impossible to root out of Ridgeview. Finally, one evening, after a particularly disastrous incident involving Robot, a chainsaw, and the town's historical monument, Ben stood on his porch defeated. You can't stop us, Ben, Robot said from his usual perch on the fountain. We're like legends. Legends never die. Zombie mumbled, gnawing on the side of a bench. Ben sighed. I don't even care anymore. Good. Robot smirked. Because this is where we belong, kid. Right in the heart of Ridgeview, causing chaos and living the dream. And guess what? You can't stop it. Ben turned on his heel, walking away as Robot and Zombie continued their reign of ridiculous terror. It seemed like peace and quiet would never return to Ridgeview, not as long as Robot and Zombie called it home.